Welcome back to the channel, and on today's video we are doing our 100 subscriber special. So I guess, as a start to this video, I guess we should say thank you to all of you for subscribing, liking the videos, watching the videos, and staying tuned into the channel.
Yeah, I mean, when we started this channel, obviously we had big goals and big ideas of, like, obviously we want to get to 1 million subscribers. Obviously, we know that can take a lot of time, but yeah, I mean, getting to 100 is already like your first big landmark in YouTube. So yeah, it's really cool to have a channel that I can say I've did work on, and it's up to 100 subscribers, and it's on a good path to hopefully getting 1,000 or 500 sometime in the next year, 2 or so. So yeah, I'm just really happy with the growth, and
Yeah, and so basically in this video we're just going to be kind of talking about why we started the channel, kind of what we do in the meantime between videos and whatnot, and just kind of let y'all know more about us, who's our favorite wrestlers, and kind of just go down the list of a few things to let y'all know more about us. But yeah, once again, thank you, 100 subscribers special. We really appreciate y'all, and now we're on the way to 1,000 hopefully. But yeah, I guess we'll start off with that and say why we started the channel. So I guess I'll let you kind of start with that one.
So this is kind of a hard one because it was one of those things where we were both at home. I was still in school at the time, and it was one of those things where, like, what can we do just to make, just have fun and hopefully eventually make a little bit of money on top. And we had a few ideas of, what we wanted to do as a YouTube channel. Originally, we were going to do criminal minds type of things. We were going to, like, explore criminal cases. But eventually we kind of just were like, you've been a wrestling fan since pretty much your entire life. I've been a wrestling fan for basically my entire life. And it was like, we're most knowledgeable in that topic already. So I think it just makes sense to do that. And at first it was I was very nervous. If you watch a lot of those old videos, I stutter a lot. I'm still doing that, but yeah, definitely it was a weird thing to get used to, but yeah, one of my favorite decisions I made.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun since we started. That was another kind of reason why we started, because it's just something fun to do, talk about wrestling. Obviously, we live in a kind of smaller town, so there's not a whole lot of people around here, not a lot of people to kind of talk about wrestling to. The people that are around aren't into it or whatever. And also there's no big stadium around here that Raw or SmackDown is hosted. They're just house shows and just things like that come around here. But yeah, pretty much everything he said is, I agree with as well. That's why we started the channel. And yeah, and then from there, I guess we'll go into our channel goals, what we want to do moving forward. Obviously, you kind of mentioned one of them, like obviously one day we want to hit 1 million subscribers and do all the cool stuff and whatnot, but obviously our smaller goal that we'll go for is probably like 1,000 or something like that, probably.
Yeah, I think the next goal obviously is like 500 is kind of like the next big goal, but 1,000, I would love to hit 1,000. That's kind of where I think you turn from a person who does YouTube videos to a YouTuber, I think. And I think that's when we can actually say we've done a lot, because 100, I won't say we haven't done anything, but it's kind of an early goal. But once you get to 1,000, that's when I'm gonna be like, wow, we actually did it.
Yeah, I agree with all of that as well. It's just been, once again, just another fun thing to do. So another goal would be to be able to do more fun things and more unique things, and yeah, just try to do things outside of the box of wrestling. Try to do some more original ideas. Obviously, there's the people we all kind of look up to in the wrestling sphere, of like a Cultaholic or
Stash
What
Club.
Culture, Stash Club. There's so many to go off of. Santi. There's literally a lot of people, and yeah, they're all great people. We learn from them. Hopefully one day we can help them learn from us for something cool that we did or done. Maybe collab with them one day or whatever it might be, but that'll be well into the future, obviously. But I guess one thing we could talk about as well is just things we plan on doing moving forward, like what kind of content we plan on putting out, or what kind of things we just personally plan on doing in like the wrestling world. Just kind of, I guess, our wrestling goals / channel goals.
Yeah, I mean, as for YouTube content, I would love to do more long-term, like long-form content. I think that's something that obviously takes a lot of time, and something that probably won't be great the first time we do it, but once we get used to it and kind of figure out how we want to plan things out, I think that's eventually when, those are like the big videos that do really well on YouTube. But as for like a YouTube wrestling goal, I would love to also do like a YouTuber wrestling event, like a full-on wrestling show, just with only YouTubers. Obviously, have people like Stash Club would be cool to have. Somebody from like Cultaholic wants to get involved. People from What Culture potentially getting involved. I know there's obviously beef there. Can do some fun with that. But yeah, I think that's with the YouTube boxing. I think that was like a huge thing that took over the entire world, or the social media world, I'll say. And I think you can do a wrestling event and have somebody like a Logan Paul maybe even endorse it or have some type of involvement in it would be amazing. That's one of like the huge goals I would love to eventually do.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great to kind of just get all the wrestling content creators together in one place. I do believe, not as far as, having big matches or anything like that, but there's been other content with like multiple collabs at once. Even people with Sean Ross Sapp, he's brought on like YouTubers to his podcast or something like that, I believe, quite a few times. But yeah, just doing stuff like that would be really cool. And yeah, try to do stuff like vlogs from WrestleMania, things like that. That's another goal, is to obviously go to a Mania. Never been to one, and that's obviously every wrestling fan's goal, is to go to a Mania and just have a blast for a week or a weekend or whatever it might be. But since we're going into more wrestling, let's talk about some of our favorite subjects of wrestling, I guess you could say. And I guess the easiest one to get into is favorite wrestlers. I guess I'll start off with some of mine. Obviously, there's a ton of wrestlers. I'm not going to name them in order or anything. We'll save that for a future video or something. But some of mine currently, obviously, CM Punk, one of my favorites. Drew McIntyre, really good. Kenny Omega, probably my favorite on the AEW side of things, alongside like a Britt Baker. Willow Nightingale, also been impressing me a lot. Tony Storm, Mariah May, the Lucha Bros, they're really good. I mean, there's so many people on the AEW side.
Darby as well.
Yeah, Darby. I mean, he's one of my favorites in all of wrestling, not just AEW. But yeah, there's a lot of people on the AEW side. On the WWE side, there's just as much, if not more, with your new people like Damian Priest. Then I'll even go back to like a Raven, a Sandman. Obviously, the classics, your Goldbergs, your Hulk Hogan, Stings, all of that. But yeah, those are just some of my favorites.
Yeah, for me right now in WWE, I really like Javon Evans from NXT. He's somebody who I kind of found out before he signed with NXT, which is really cool to say that. Like I've kind of been there. I'm not saying from the start because I wasn't there watching his first matches or anything like that, but I watched a few matches from YouTube, and then he got to DPW. Again, another wrestling YouTuber created just company, I guess you can say, and they've been doing great things as well. But yeah, following him, he's been really good. Gunther, obviously, you guys always hear me talk about him, how much I enjoy his matches. Sammy, Ilya. On AEW, obviously love Will Ospreay, Kenny, Darby, Eddie Kingston's another one of my favorites. Danielson, obviously probably my favorite wrestler of all time, and all times. Obviously Cena, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Punk, Hardys. I mean, kind of just the basic ones that every 5-10-year-old is gonna like when during the 2011s, 2010s. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess another one we go to is some of our favorite moments in wrestling. And once again, I guess I will go first and go with something like CM Punk winning Money in the Bank back to back. Just really cool as like a new event. It was kind of just starting, so for someone to win back to back that quickly, just a really cool thing for him to kind of hold, just as a wrestler, that achievement, I guess. Same thing with Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble twice. Obviously, I'm always going to mention the WrestleMania moment that is passed this year with Roman and Cody. Just amazing storytelling and stuff there. I love the Triple H and Chris Jericho feud from 2000 era, early 2000s. But yeah, there's been a lot of things like that. That's some of my favorite moments. Just the big feuds that build up, the surprise title changes, like Mankind winning. One of my favorite matches of all time is The Rock versus Mankind at Royal Rumble, and the I Quit match. There's just a lot of moments I can name, but those are some of the ones that come off the top of my head.
Yeah, like my favorite moments have honestly become like a lot of recent moments. Obviously, CM Punk's return is something that is forever burned in my brain. Just hearing the music when the the show's about to end, he just comes out, hear the music. It's one of the craziest moments ever. You never think it's gonna happen. Obviously, him going to AEW as well. That's also a huge one. Cody, like you said. Another old one was the Triple H Randy Orton feud, where Triple H like goes into his house and is like trying to beat him up. He gets arrested on TV. That was something that I thought was so cool at the time. I obviously thought it was real. But yeah, just a lot of cool things just during the there's like a lot of underrated things I think in 2000, like the early 2010s, that people kind of hate on just because it was the 2010s.
Yeah, and another one I'll mention is when we went to our AEW show that we went to a Collision. We got to see the CM Punk infamous Hangman Adam Page promo, where he talks about saying all his action figures just sit on pegs all day. Yeah. And yeah, we were there for that, so that was pretty cool to see. We got to see Dalton Castle really early on as well, and Ring of Honor after the show.
Samoa Joe was there. Got to see FTR, House of Black.
Darby Allin, Luchasaurus as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was one of the weaker Collisions at the time. It was like because I think it was like an early episode of Collision when the show first started. But yeah, it was one of the weaker ones of like between like the few week period. But it was still a very solid show. I did enjoy it though.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that kind of got me into wrestling, or at least AEW. I was already watching WWE at the time, kind of got back into it. But when we went to that show, it really opened my eyes to the AEW side of thing, and that's when I became a fan of Darby. He does all the hardcore stuff. That's when I learned that, because he does I forget what he does, but he does something with a skateboard to Luchasaurus, like jumps off the top rope and lands on him with the skateboard or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, that's when I became a fan of Darby. Seeing House of Black's entrance, that made me a fan of them as well. But yeah, that's one of the moments that made me get into wrestling, which I guess will be my next question for you, is what got you into wrestling?
So getting back into wrestling, it was honestly WrestleMania 38 with Cody Rhodes. As funny as that might be, I was doing other things. I played a lot of video games. I was kind of playing a lot of competitive games, and I was kind of starting to like fall out with that, and I just wanted something else to do just to fill my days in between school and stuff like that. And I was like, let's just check back into wrestling. I like kind of looked in every once in a while. I heard about AEW starting up, and I've heard that people like it, people hate it, blah blah blah. But I was watching WrestleMania 38, and I knew it was gonna be Cody Rhodes. Everybody knew who it was, but the atmosphere and like the vibe that gave off was absolutely insane. Him comes out, has a great match with Seth Rollins, and I think that what really does it for me is like, not only was the huge moment there, it was also a great match, which, you know, I haven't seen a good match in so long, because, you know, I'd stopped right at like 2017, 2016. I wasn't watching NXT at that time either, so I missed out on a lot of great stuff then. But early getting me like originally into wrestling, probably Shawn Michaels Undertaker. That's WrestleMania 25 is my favorite show ever. Even though probably people don't think it's the best, it's my favorite just because you have the Taker versus Undertaker, or Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker match, the Money in the Bank match, the John Cena Triple Threat match. Just really cool as a kid to see, you know, some of my favorites and some great matches.
Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of what, like I mentioned, like, that's what got me into wrestling. We went to the AEW show, got me more into the AEW side, and even before that, what kind of really got me started, I guess, watching wrestling again was CM Punk's just return to wrestling in AEW. Once again, I'm mentioning them, but his just big return when he finally came back. There was rumors that it was going to happen. I was a huge CM Punk fan, so when I heard that news, just scrolling through Twitter or whatever it was, I tuned in to see it. It was a pretty good show. Couldn't really put faces to names. I didn't really know anybody, obviously, at that time in AEW. But just seeing that moment just made me like, okay, wrestling seems to be cool again. Let me watch WWE now. And then that kind of went down a spiral from there. And then obviously when I was younger, what originally got me into it was my grandfather is just a huge wrestling fan, was always watching it on TV, had thousands of wrestlers. And yeah, that was just my thing. Just wrestling was my thing consistently from when I was basically born all the way into the time I was about 16, 17, somewhere around there. Then I came back about 2-3 years ago and started watching.
Yeah. I think another thing that really helped me get into wrestling as well was like action figures, because obviously every boy, and obviously girls as well, but every boy during the 2010s or just whenever was always playing with wrestling figures. I was no different. But yeah, just having my own shows and having Matt Hardy win the world champion or Jeff Hardy win the world champion, and yeah, it was always one of those things that I think really creatively helped me, just because you have to putting on fake storylines with your wrestlers and doing cool moves with the figures and stuff was always cool. But yeah.
Yeah, and I guess keeping on the topic of figures, if y'all don't know, we do reselling of action figures and whatnot, and as well as doing that, we collect action figures, and we have a couple we put to the side every now and then. I have a Finn Balor collection I've been working on to complete his full Elite line, and things like that. But yeah, we do resell action figures and just WWE things in general to just kind of fund the channel. Obviously, we're not monetized as of yet, so we do things like that to kind of make upgrades, such as the camera upgrades, the backgrounds, the mics, the lights, and everything like that. I'm sure if you've been watching for a while now, you've seen all the kind of transitions of backgrounds that we've had, the all green, the green screen,
the red and black panels.
Yeah, the red and black, the all black one. So we made a lot of adjustments to try to fit what works best for us. And I feel like this is the best quality we've ever had is right now. And yeah, we have more things coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah, that's one cool thing that I've been doing every once in a while, just going back on our channel and just seeing what the first videos looked like to now, and I think it's a night and day difference. One, just me as myself, I look so different. I still have long hair now, but when I got my hair cut, I look so different. And we had the green screen for a little while, and then also we had the green background, then we have this background, like I said, the red and black panels, the black panels. So yeah, just really cool to see the progression of our just sets, I guess.
Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much gonna be the video. We went through all of our favorite topics of wrestling and whatnot, and just things about the channel. And yeah, we wanted to say once again, thank you guys for everything that y'all done, the likes and all that kind of stuff. We really do appreciate it. We're gonna continue putting in more work, and we're gonna try as much as we can to be as consistent as possible. We have big plans going forward for the rest of this year and obviously into next year. But yeah, any last thoughts from you?
No, like you said, just thank you guys so much for the support. It's one of those things that is kind of, even though like I said we're on still a small scale, it is really cool just to be on a YouTube channel with a good amount of subscribers. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Never thought this would really happen, but yeah, hopefully one day I can say we can do 1 million. Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be it for this video, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.